Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I'm the Last Wanderer, and today I've got 3 unique Sculk sensor hidden entrances to show. As a matter of fact, all 3 of them are actually in frame right now, and if you want to pause the video to find them, you can try, though they'll be very hard to spot. I'll be starting off with a hidden entrance from the title and thumbnail's video, The Invisible Button. Now, you might notice that the scenery over here is not the same as it was in the thumbnail. And that's because the thumbnail was a red herring. I didn't want people guessing where my hidden entrance was before I showed it on camera, so I made a fake thumbnail, and that red circle you saw had absolutely nothing in it. There was no invisible button there. However, there is an invisible button here. Obviously, you can't see it because it's invisible, but I can show you it working. If I hit it, it'll open the door, and I can walk in to my secret base. I can then just turn around, walk out, hit my other invisible button to leave, and exit my base like it never even existed. Now, I can assure you there are no shenanigans going on here. There's no hidden player detectors, no command blocks, and this will be recreatable in survival once Sculk sensors become available. Yes, there is in fact an invisible button of sorts here, and this door here will not open unless you hit it. If you pay close attention though, and listen carefully, you might be able to figure out what's going on. That sound you just heard was me hitting an unseen entity, but it can be revealed using debug tools. The seemingly invisible entity is actually the upper tip of an armor stand. Armor stands have a hitbox larger than their model to allow them to hold helmets. Without a helmet though, this part of the armor stand can be used for the invisible button. Here's a bisected view of my setup. The armor stand sits on top of a carpet 7 blocks above a Sculk sensor. Since an armor stand is exactly 2 blocks tall, the addition of the carpet allows the unoccupied part of its hitbox to stick up a little bit above the ground. Also, the Sculk sensor only detects the bottom center of an entity when it's hit. So although the top of the armor stand is outside the Sculk sensor's range, the Sculk sensor can still detect you punching it. Obviously, there's wool around to make sure the Sculk sensor can only hear the armor stand being hit, and the Sculk sensor is waterlogged so that it doesn't make any sounds. In order to get the armor stand there in the first place, all you have to do is put a dispenser facing into the floor block, put an armor stand in it, and then power that dispenser. It's that simple. I also made a more compact design for slab floors. This design props the armor stand up with a stone cutter, and since the bottom center of the armor stand matters for Sculk sensor vibrations only, you can have a wool block in the center of the armor stand to block any vibrations from above. To get the armor stand there, it's a similar thing with a dispenser. Just put a dispenser here, grab an armor stand, put it in the dispenser, and power the dispenser. It's that simple. And yes, the invisible button does in fact work. I have to show this in survival mode though, because in creative, if you hit an armor stand, you break it. So the one other thing I should mention is that there's 2 different ways to get an output from the invisible button. Either have a sticky piston underneath the wool block with the Sculk sensor on top, or have a comparator right here. Now, you don't need to worry about anything else triggering the Sculk sensor, because as long as you have all the wool, only the armor stand will be in range. Also, I should mention, the glass I showed earlier was just to make it easier to count the distance. It's not actually needed. But now here's the invisible button working. I'll also show the other design working too. It's basically the same thing, but this time I'll be showcasing a comparator powering the output. And everything works perfectly. I mentioned earlier that if you hit an armor stand in creative, you'll break it. Now there's a few other ways you can break the invisible button that you need to be wary of. First of all, hitting the armor stand with a melee weapon, even a netherite axe with sharpness 5, won't break it, as long as you only hit it once. But if you spam hit, it'll break. The same goes with punching. If you spam hit it, it'll break. The one enchantment you do need to avoid at all costs is Fire Aspect, because if you set the armor stand on fire with Fire Aspect, it'll burn away and won't even drop an item. You also need to watch out for projectiles like arrows and tridents. Those will easily break an armor stand. But projectiles like snowballs, eggs, potions have no effect. And then finally, there's the fishing rod, which can pull the armor stand out of place. And that wraps up just about everything you need to know on the invisible button. So next up I'm going to be showing my second secret entrance. In order to do that, I need to pull out this bow here and take a very precise shot. And I get to walk into my secret treasure room. Now, I can't fit a second of these projectile detectors in here, so I just have a button for the way out. Then again, this video is about secret entrances, not secret exits. The mechanics behind this secret entrance are a lot easier to understand. This air block here is in range of a Sculk sensor, and that Sculk sensor is filtered to only detect the frequencies from projectiles, like arrows. Once you hit in range, the Sculk sensor will detect it, and then this double piston extender will push the arrow away so that no conspicuous projectile remains behind. While the mechanics of this secret entrance are simpler than my last design, the redstone itself is a bit more complicated, though overall it's not too difficult. Everything begins when this Sculk sensor here detects the vibration of a projectile hitting out here. I also include wool to prevent vibrations from elsewhere from influencing the Sculk sensor. You can extend the amount of wool here to further limit the scope of where an outside vibration can come from. In my demonstration, I actually put it into this big wall here, so no other vibration can influence the Sculk sensor. But back to this setup here, this comparator detects the frequency of the Sculk sensor, and this frequency can be filtered using this simple filter here. This comparator inputs a redstone signal based on the items in this furnace to this comparator, which is on subtraction mode, so the frequency of a projectile will always give out a redstone signal strength of 1. If a higher frequency is detected, this repeater will power this redstone dust, preventing anything from happening. But when the correct frequency is detected, this redstone torch will turn off, this repeater will not power, which will turn this repeater off. This observer will detect that and power this 4-tick repeater. That will then trigger this double piston extender, pushing the projectile away, making it appear as if no suspicious objects are there. To activate a hidden door with this device, all you need to do is take an output from this redstone dust here. For this example, I'll just use a redstone torch and lamp to demonstrate that the lamp will turn on, but you can take that output in many other ways. So here's everything working. And as you can see, it's working exactly as it should be. Having said all that, I think I've covered everything you need to know on my second secret entrance. So now it's time for me to move on to my third and final secret entrance. This one is a bit like the first secret entrance where you have to hit something, but this time, instead of hitting an armor stand, you have to hit a plant. That triggers a Sculk sensor and opens this secret entrance right here, where I can walk into my hidden nether base. If I want to go out, I can just hop in this minecart, hit this button, and then pop out up here. And no, the minecart ejection system is not part of what I'll be showcasing today. Something important to note is whenever you break this plant here, a new one will be grown. However, it can differ every time because which plant is grown is random. For instance, if I break this grass, I might get something totally different, like this tall grass. You can also get flowers depending on which biome you're in. Something else important to know about tall grass in particular is you can't break the top, because if you hit the top, the Sculk sensor will not detect it breaking. So what you'll have to do is just place in a new plant, wait 2 seconds, and then break it, and the hidden entrance will work again. As long as you break the bottom of tall grass, it won't be a problem. Since this hidden entrance can sometimes grow tall grass, it's best hidden in biomes where tall grass naturally spawns, such as plains biomes, savannas, and the upcoming 1.18 biome, lush caves. Because of this, I made a second version in this plains biome here. This secret entrance actually incorporates a lot of the same mechanics and redstone as the 2 previous secret entrances I showed. For instance, this grass block is the 7th block away from the Sculk sensor, and due to all the wool surrounding the Sculk sensor, including the wool I removed so you could see it, The only vibrations the Sculk sensor can detect are from this block here, such as when you punch the grass. Any other vibrations, however, are filtered out using this filter. So what exactly happens when you punch this grass is that the Sculk sensor will detect it, and this comparator will then read the frequency from the Sculk sensor. We also have this comparator here to once again subtract from this comparator. This time we're subtracting a signal strength of 12 with these items in this dropper. This is basically the same Sculk filter as before, except for this time I've moved it one block back, just so that this design could be more compact. So this comparator powers this block. If it's a signal strength of 1, this repeater is not powered. If it's a signal strength of 2, this repeater is powered and nothing happens. When it's only signal strength of 1, only this torch will turn out, which will turn this repeater off, and this observer will detect it and fire this dispenser to dispense bone meal to replace the broken plant. Like last time, if you want to take an output, you can just take it from this redstone dust, or you can take it from any of the observers or powered rails along this line. Now, I'll just show you this contraption working. If I break this grass here, you can see that this redstone lamp turns on, and this one actually double pulses, which does not waste any bone meal, and in case if you break the new plant too soon, it'll just dispense a new one out, so the machine will not automatically break. Now, this secret entrance supports 576 uses from this dispenser here full of bone meal, but if you want to add more, you can just add in a hopper line or even droppers facing upward to renewably give this bone meal so you can use it as many times as you want. With the final secret entrance shown, that basically wraps up this video. Now, just for some final notes, I initially conceptualized this video when Sculk sensors were still going to be a full feature in the 1.17 update. However, since it's changed, I probably won't be doing any more Sculk sensor videos until it gets closer to the release. But don't worry, I will be having other interesting videos in the meantime. In case you didn't know though, you can still get Sculk sensors in the 1.17 snapshots and the 1.17 full release just by using the /give command to give yourself a Sculk sensor, just like this. But with that said, that's all I've got for now, so thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out some of my other videos, and make sure to come back next time for our next video. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye. You just have to hit this plant.